Chapter 29. Why Nobody Can See God. Anastasia told me, when I talked with her in the taiga, I recalled, that nobody can see God because his thoughts work with great speed and concentration. But I'm thinking, why doesn't he slow them down so people can get a good look at him? The old man raised his walking stick and pointed it at the passing cyclist. Look there, Vladimir. Look how the bicycle wheels turn. The wheel has spokes, but you cannot see them. They are there, and you know it, but the speed of rotation does not allow you to see them. Or put it another way, the pace of your thinking and visual perception does not allow you to see them. If the cyclist goes slower, you will see the spokes of the wheel, albeit blurred. If he stops altogether, you will see them clearly. But the cyclist himself will fall off. He won't get to his destination because of his stopping. And for what? Just to let you see that the spokes are there? But where does that take you? Has anything changed in you or around you? The only thing you will know for certain is the spokes exist. And that's it. The cyclist, of course, can always get up and continue his journey, but others may want to see it, which means he'll have to stop and fall again and again. And for what? Well, so I can get a good look at him just once. And what will you see? After all, a cyclist lying on the ground isn't a cyclist anymore. You will have to imagine what he looked like. Just so, a God who changes the pace of his thinking is no longer God. Wouldn't it be better for you to learn how to accelerate your own thinking? Imagine yourself talking with someone who has a slow time getting what you're saying. Doesn't that irritate you? Isn't it a pain slowing down your pace of thought to his level? You're right. If you adapt yourself to a fool's pace, you might become a fool yourself. So in order for us to see God, he would have to slow down his own thinking to our pace and become as one of us. But when he does this, sending us his sons, the crowd looks at them and says, "You aren't God. You're not even the Son of God. You're just a pretender. Perform a miracle, or we'll nail you to a cross." But why shouldn't God's Son perform a miracle? I questioned. At least so the non-believers would back off and not crucify him. Miracles do not convince non-believers. They only tempt them, came the reply. And those who perform miracles are burnt at the stake under cries of, "Burn the manifestation of the dark forces." Besides, just look around you. God's miracles abound in countless numbers. The sun rises every day, and then there is the moon at night. An insect on a blade of grass is a miracle, after all, not to mention a tree. Here we are, the two of us, sitting under a tree. Who could think up a more perfect mechanism than a tree like this? These are particles of his thought. All the materialized living forms scurry beneath our feet, flying above our heads in the ethereal blue, singing for us, caressing our bodies with a ray of warmth. These are all his. They are all around us, made for us. But there are that many people who are not only but there are that many people who are able not only to see, but to feel and realize the significance of all this. Maybe not even to improve, but simply to use and keep from distorting or destroying these living marvels of creation. As for his sons, they have one purpose: to raise people's conscious awareness by their words, slowing down their own thinking, even at the risk of being misunderstood themselves. But Anastasia emphasized that just speaking words was not enough to raise man's conscious awareness to a meaningful level. I too think that mankind has uttered an enormous number of different words, but what do they mean? The earth all around is full of unhappy lives, and it may even suffer a global disaster. Quite right. When the words do not come from the heart, when the threads linking them to the soul are torn apart, then the words are empty, imageless, faceless. Our granddaughter, Nastinka, is capable of creating images, not just in every word, but in the sound of every letter of the alphabet. Footnote, Nastinka, a diminutive form of Anastasia. Now the earth-dwelling teachers, his sons, that are able in the flesh today, now the earth-dwelling teachers, his sons that are in the flesh today, will attain such a degree of power that the human spirit will outshine the darkness. Sons? Teachers? What have they got to do with it? Aren't the abilities hers alone? She will share them. In fact, she is already sharing them. Look here. You've been able to write a book. Readers have flooded the world with poems, and new songs have been sung. Have you heard the new songs? Yes, I have. So this will be multiplied many times with your religious teachers, just as soon as they come into contact with the book. And where you simply see words, they will feel the living images, and the power will be magnified multifold within them. They will feel it, but what about me? What am I, completely devoid of feeling? If so, why did she talk with me and not with them? Because you are incapable of distorting what you hear, and there is nothing you have of your own already that you can mix with it. On a clean sheet of paper, the word is set forth more clearly. But not to worry, your thought will accelerate too. Okay, let it accelerate in me too, so I don't lag behind the others. I guess everything you say must be right. Here in Russia, there's the leader of one religious community. The community settlers refer to him as their teacher, who told his followers to read the book about Anastasia. It will set your hearts on fire, he told them. And many of his followers went out and bought the book. So that means he understood. He felt something. And that is why he helped Anastasia and you. Did you ever thank him for his help? I've never met him. You can say thank you in your heart. Silently, you mean? Who's going to hear that? The one who listens with his heart will hear it. There's another element here. He said the book was really good, Anastasia too, but he went on to say that I wasn't a real man, wasn't a true male of the species. Anastasia didn't meet with a real man, he said. I saw this myself on TV and then read it in the papers. And what would you say you were, Mr. Perfection? Well, perfection, I admit, is stretching it. Then you need not be offended. You can work towards being perfect. My granddaughter will help you. Those whom love is capable of uplifting can rise to the heights. It's not even meant for everyone to grasp the whys and the wherefores. An extraordinary speed of thinking is required for that. What about your thought? What speed does it operate at? You don't find it tiresome talking with me? The thinking speed of anyone who leads a lifestyle such as ours is always significantly greater than that of people in the technocratic world. Our thought is not encumbered by constant concerns about clothing, food, and a lot of other things like that. But I do not find it tiresome talking with you, thanks to my love for my granddaughter. She wanted me to talk with you, and I am glad to do something for her. And what is the pace of Anastasia's thinking? The same as yours and your father's? Anastasia's is greater. By how much? By what ratio? What can she process in 10 minutes, let's say? How long would that take you? To make sense of what she can process in a second, we would require several months. That is why she sometimes seems to us illogical. That is why she is utterly alone. That is why we can't be of any significant help to her. Why we can't grasp right off the logic behind her actions. My father has completely given up conversation altogether. He keeps trying to match her pace of thinking so that he can help her. He wants me to do the same, but I don't even try. My father thinks that's because I'm lazy, but I love my granddaughter very much, and I simply trust that she is doing everything correctly. And if she asks me to do something, I am delighted to do it. That is why I came to see you. But how then does Anastasia manage to talk with me for 3 whole days? We wondered how, too, for a long time. After all, constantly making that kind of an adjustment could drive one crazy. It was just recently that we discovered the answer. You see, when she was talking with you, she did not slow her thinking down. On the contrary, she made it work even faster. She accelerated it and transformed it into images. Now, like your computer programs, these images will play themselves out for you and for anyone else who reads the book. They will expand and accelerate the pace of human thinking by leaps and bounds, bringing it closer to God. When we realized that, we concluded that in thinking up such a thing, she had created a new law in the universe. But now it's clear that she was simply using the opportunity afforded by pure and sincere love, which we hadn't known about before. Love, after all, has remained one of the Creator's grand mysteries. And look how she has now opened up one of its great opportunities and powers. And does the pace of her thinking allow her to see God? Hardly. After all, she lives in the flesh too. God is in the flesh as well, but only partly. And his flesh is all the people of the earth. As one small particle of this flesh, Anastasia occasionally grasps something. It is possible that when her thinking reaches such incredible speeds, she feels him more than the others do, but this happens with her only for short periods of time. And what does it give her? In a matter of a second, she is able to comprehend the truths, the essence of being, the conscious awareness that the wisest people of your world have spent a lifetime perfecting and sharing with each other. And that means that she has the knowledge of our Oriental lamas, the wisdom of Buddha and Christ, and knows yoga too. That she does. She knows more than is said in all the treatises passed down to your world today, but she still considers them to be insufficient, since there is no universal harmony among those living on the earth today, and the march toward global disaster continues. This is why she is working out her incredible combinations. She is saying, enough of teaching people dogmas, enough of tempting them with Adam and Eve's apple. They must be enabled to feel, really feel what man once felt, what he was capable of, and who he was. So, I said, what you're trying to tell me is that she has a real possibility of doing something good for all of mankind? If that's so, then when will it begin, this good? It has already begun. Just little sprouts so far, but that is only for the time being. Where are they? How do I see them or feel them? Ask the people who read the book. The sprouts are in them. Indeed, the book is awakening bright feelings in many people. That is something that can no longer be denied. Many will attest to it. She has succeeded with those combinations of hers. Incredible, but she's done it. And you, Vladimir, think about who you were and who you have become. What has been happening, Vladimir, is that a program of thought images has been unfolding in you, and her soul has been unfolding in people's consciousness. The world is starting to change in you, and by doing so is changing the thought images all around you. We cannot fathom completely how she manages to do that. What is evidently real on the surface is something we can still manage to decipher. What helps her to bring about this new reality remains a mystery. Naturally, one can make vigorous efforts to delve into it, but we should be wary of taking away from the marvelous reality that is unfolding before our eyes. A breathtaking dawn of a new day is something to be admired. Once you begin analyzing the whys and wherefores instead of elation, all you get is excavation, which does not lead to anything and does not change anything. Golly, I didn't realize it was so far out, so complex. I was still hoping Anastasia was just a simple recluse, only extraordinarily kind and beautiful and a little naive. You see what I mean? You mustn't go digging around and knocking your brains out. If it's all too complex, then let her remain for you a kind and beautiful recluse, since that's the image you have of her. Others will see something different. You have been given what you have been given. That's all your consciousness has room for at the moment, and that is perfectly well and good. Just try to admire the dawn if you can. That is the most important thing of all.